Okay, I wouldn't go live for some reason. That's weird, but I'm just gonna go through. I've been building these playlists for 3 years now. Almost every month, I have a playlist. Ever since I quit my job and started trying to make AI chatbots, trying to make a business making AI chatbots, I disregarded all of the advice to don't watch a bunch of videos. Instead, I watched tons of videos and Um, I keep watching tons of videos because I like information. I'm an information addict. So I'm gonna go through and watch videos from today, from the last 24 hours. I think maybe it's been 48 hours since I actually uh, looked at these. Show. Oops, I should not have. Wait, did I upload? No, that's from my other account. That's fine. AI is making you a bad programmer. Google AI Studio, build and automate anything. Okay. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not lately I've been looking through these and I don't see a whole lot of stuff that I really um care to watch on this account most recently. Let's make sure that I didn't. Okay, we're good. Recover your SEO rankings with this. Yeah, lately everything I do save to this is about. Oops, I did not mean to click on that. Please don't make me start over from the beginning. Nice. This keyword research method got me 120K monthly traffic. Steal it. Sir, yes, sir. Talking about rag and Chinese, that's my shit. Let's go. Disappear and come back unrecognizable. No thanks. I interviewed 466 B2B marketers. Here's what I learned. Okay. I'll give that a listen probably. The rise of AI browsers, probably interesting, but I don't know right now. How to create killer hooks. Probably something I should listen to, but we're going to skip it. Low competition keywords. That's my thing. So the playlist is called AIAA, which stands for AI Automation Agency. It's kind of an outdated term. Nobody's really using it anymore. And not only that, but these days, I really only put SEO videos on there. So I should really call it like SEO, but I don't change things once I go with them. I just keep. I don't care. New Notebook LM updates are insane. I bet they are. I've been using Notebook LM more and more, and I like it. It's good. ChatGPT projects, the feature you're not using, but you should. I use that a lot. Standing out in a world of sameness. Jesse Cunningham is I save all of his videos ever since he came out with one that I liked a lot a while ago. But I don't always watch them. I just save them and then don't watch them a lot of the time, unfortunately. 30岁教会我的5件事情，深度谈心，我的10年长征的总结。Okay. I'm gonna save that just because I like anytime people are talking in Chinese about marketing and SEO stuff. That's kind of where my head is at. The AGI feature is weirder than you think. I don't know. Probably interesting. I do like Dave Shapiro's videos a lot of the time, but they're never like urgent to watch. Tend to be very much about like theoretical prognostication. This AI agent handles hiring automatically. Kasra Dash. I like his videos a lot of the time. There we go. Should you scale your agency or stay solo? I like this guy. He does like daily updates, but lately he's been having actual titles, actual hooks in a title, which is cool. Query fan out. Good question. Good topic. Vibe coding beautiful UIs in 3 simple steps. Probably something I should. Okay. SEO, GEO in Chinese. You hit the trifecta. That's a Chinese video. I must get that one. 增长工具和流程的能力。I don't know what this is about, but sure, why not? Let's find out. How B2B brands win without chasing web traffic. Interesting. Gonna go ahead and put that on there since all of my other ones are about how to get traffic. So let's get the counter argument. Making documentation executable. Interesting. Not sure what that's about, but travel and tourism link strategies that work in 2026. I'll look at that because, hey, where I'm going, it is a tourist destination. The whole economy runs on tourism over there in Hualien. Um, 从流利说高管到艺人公司某某是all right. I don't know. I probably won't watch this. It's an hour long. That's probably more than I care to listen to. But like I said, I sometimes just want like literally anybody that's speaking in Chinese about SEO, marketing, or AI. Sometimes it's just good background noise for me. Now this guy has the same thumbnail for every single one of his videos. 百位职场170从职场高管到个体创业. Wait a minute. I feel like that's the same. Wait, is that the same? It's the same guy, and it's the same. It's also like an hour long. So I am not sure whether or not I need both. We'll put it on there. Why the heck not? 你感知的现在全是假的，意识竟然逆转了时间，科学尽头是神学。I don't know what you're talking about, but again, you're speaking about marketing and AI in Chinese, so put it on the list and decide whether or not to skip it later. 读书如何摆脱精神内耗？正负实验防煞 What? Well, I don't actually understand what you're talking about, so I'm going to skip you. Rank number 1 with Notebook LM AI SEO. Here's how. Okay, Julian Goldie, you got me. I'm going to follow. I'm going to give you a listen. Research report methods. Jackie Cho is always a save. I don't always watch the videos, but I always save them. I like Jackie Cho a lot. He seems to be very pragmatic. He gives very pragmatic advice. Ex-Google CEO warns that AI is becoming conscious. Should I add that? I don't know. I'm really conflicted about whether or not to add that because it might be interesting, but it might be stupid. SEO training camp landing page creator. If it was 10 minutes long, I'd watch it. It's an hour. It's definitely a live stream. I make live streams all day, but I don't watch anybody else's live stream. Most skills will be irrelevant in 10 years. Anthropic AI says large LLMs can be poisoned with 250 documents.开源往者归来. What is actually happening in SaaS right now? Only 8 minutes long. Worth a listen. The new way to sell AI services is making beginners rich. Sounds good, but it's probably go high level. Or something similar to go high level. So 26 harsh lessons. It's an hour and 40 minutes from Alex Hormozi. If it was an hour and 46 minutes, I watch it. Hour and 46 minutes, too much. How smart founders are building AI businesses in 2026. Okay, fine. You got me. I'm curious what you're talking about, sir. GPT is not the future of AI. Okay. Again, if it was an hour long, I don't need an hour on that topic. I need about 5 minutes on that topic. 普通人的 AI 知识库. Notebook LM. Okay. Let's get a Notebook LM video in Chinese. 5 best AI businesses. No, I always save the Edward Strum videos. Again, I don't always watch them because they're long. And oh, hell yeah. We got one from K Dasha. I'm going to apply for a job with them as soon as I get to Taiwan. How I build local SEO topical maps that rank. Okay. That is going in the list for sure. Keep less stuff. Life will be simpler. Why ClickSlice ranks best in e-commerce SEO. Why Starbucks isn't a coffee company. Surprising power. Gemini 3 Flash 发布 AGI 是彻头彻尾的胡扯言了村 Gonna skip that. Evolving prompts for code agents. Continual system prompt learning for code agents. Interesting topic. Stop being broke. I would love to. Multimodal generative reasoning. How to create Amazon KDP. Build a business you can fire yourself from. 8 minutes long. I'll give it a listen. 斯坦福教授，你对多巴胺的理解全是错的。According to Stanford professor, your understanding of dopamine is totally wrong. I'll give it a listen. Probably. Can never be sure. It's 2 days ago. We're already 2 days in. I'm probably going to stop somewhere along here. I feel like I went through this 3 days ago. Learn how to grow your channel on YouTube. 3 hours. I could handle 3 minutes of that, not 3 hours of that. SEO is dead. Brand citations win. Okay. That's the type of topic I'm into. Let's hear about it. OpenAI revealed the exact date for AGI. Well, they said that ChatGPT 5 was AGI. So I don't know why I should believe their next pronouncement. Most advanced reg framework yet. You know what though? I just do reg with what OpenAI offers me. Earned Media 101 with Edward Strom. Let's put it in the list. Only 43 minutes long. Maybe you get to listen. It's only going to be like 25 minutes when I have it on 1.5 speed. How to get out of building MVPs. Interesting. I'm not sure what he means by that, but it's only 4 minutes. Worth a listen. Inside, using movies to do money laundering. 不用写代码，只要你用 Google Gemini 快速制作高大的网站进度条论播图。Okay, whatever. GEO checklist. What 2026? I would watch that if it wasn't an hour and 20 minutes long. 18 minutes of no BS marketing tactics to double your leads. I'm gonna skip it. Because you know what? All right, fine. We'll put it on there. Maybe I'll skip it when it comes up. But I mean, the thing is that sounds interesting, but at the end of the day, regardless of what tactics there are available to you, you have to actually utilize the tactics, which takes time and effort. Ooh, hello there, AI generated Chinese lady. 专业 AI 经营制作套件. Making videos with AI or movie? Yeah. Did he say videos or movies? He said movies. Shamu 奥特曼疯了吗? Is Sam Altman crazy? Here's my video, inability to sleep. All right, I'll put this one on there. I do like Richard Aragon. It's just, again, he sort of talks about, the theoretical things. Never very urgent, never very pragmatic, but interesting. So as much as I like it, but it's like if there's too much videos that I haven't watched yet, then I'm not gonna. It's just not urgent. It's not dramatic to watch. Machine learning using R. I do remember that, so I feel like I'm going through things that I've already looked at. So I can probably be done. The LinkedIn listicle trick. Let's see here. I feel like if I click on this one, it's going to already be in the list. And that would mean officially I am back to somewhere up. Well, yep, it's already in there. Okay. Yeah, so that probably means I'm going through things I've already looked at. Let's just close this tab out. And now let us commence with the Clash Royale marathon. Where do these papers come from? There's always little papers everywhere in my home, and I don't even roll joints, so. Oops, I started a Clash Royale without starting the video first. So let's pull up the playlist. Three o'clock in the afternoon, time for the anxiety to start. And now the neighbors are home. They're going to smoke weed. I'm going to get doubly anxious for a little while.
This video is brought to you by SEMrush. Is SEO dead? Honestly, I don't know. I'm not qualified to answer that question. But what I can tell you is this. AI SEO has been this amorphous thing that everyone talks about and wants to get into, but very few people that aren't SEO practitioners can actually tackle. I came across a tool from SEMrush to help me make sense of this, and I wanted to show it to you in case it helps you get well positioned for 2026. I ran my own agency's website through it, and let's say I have some work to do. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what AI SEO is in case you're not aware, and how to use this tool called SEMrush 1. Let's dive in. So the concept of AI SEO is new to you. Up until now, we've lived in a world of traditional SEO. And traditional SEO is the equivalent of me going into Google, entering a search term or question, and then receiving a series of blue-linked web pages that are all ranked by relevance to my actual question. So in the old world, you optimize for specific keywords. So these are words, let's say, if you have something like near me SEO, when you say coffee shop near me, the keywords there would be coffee shop, and then near me is its own branch of SEO. So as an example, if you said something like coffee near me, that would be a search term where there would be keyword analysis, there would be analysis on the near me element, and it would show you the results that make the most sense given your location. With AI SEO, the game changes because you go from singular keywords to actual questions and prompts. So if you go to ChatGPT and I say something like, give me the best agency in Canada for AI consultancy that starts with the word prompt, and I pray that it finds something like that. So hopefully it finds my agency. Otherwise, this is not a great example. So even though ChatGPT is probably just using my memory to answer this, it does come back with Prompt Advisors, my agency, and this is a natural language way of asking this question. So AI SEO is not just about a specific keyword, but its intent behind a prompt or a series of prompts. And one of the most important factors for AI SEO are citations, and which citations pop up when a user sends a prompt. This prompt, for example, says, what are the best shoes for running? So we would go and see which websites are optimized for LLMs to go and scrape it, talk to it, and ideally have the answer to the very question being posed. And what makes AI SEO opaque is the fact that technically you don't know who's finding you and how they're finding you and through what LLM they're finding you, whether it's ChatGPT search, whether it's Gemini, or something like Perplexity. So when it comes to AI SEO, things like the AI visibility score, prompt coverage, brand perception, competitor gap are all elements you want to take a look at. And that's why I thought it would be useful to show today's sponsor, SEMrush, and their specific tool that's meant to fix this particular problem. It's meant to be a one-stop shop where you can just put the link to your website or a competitor's website or a client's website and see exactly where they fall in terms of AI visibility. Now, instead of me just talking about it, let me show it to you. So you can see here, if we go to SEMrush and we go on the main dashboard, if you don't know, SEMrush has been one of the main tools used for the old-fashioned SEO. Now they've branched off to the new world. And in this case, you can see I entered promptadvisors.com, and my AI visibility is embarrassingly very low. And you can click on this and get some more information by clicking on this tab right here, AI Visibility, and you get access to this through SEMrush 1. So if you go to Visibility Overview, and I put my domain again, so I'll just check this one right here. You'll see that my AI visibility is low. It's showing me where the traffic is or the lack thereof. And if we go to the AI section and specifically the visibility overview, and you click on my last check website right here, you'll see that my visibility, like we saw before, is embarrassingly low. And more specifically, it says that it's rarely mentioned in LLM outputs compared to other competitors. And instead of just having to tell you what's wrong, it can tell you what you can also do to fix it. So one example right here is this find hot topics for your brand. So if we click on uncover topic opportunities, it will pop up a series of topics. In this case, 1,100 topics. AI chatbots and GPT technology, AI content and detection tools. And if we click on something like prompts, it will show you existing prompts that are being sent in real time to things like ChatGPT or Gemini or the AI mode of Google. And it doesn't just show you the topics, it can also show you prompts that are being sent in real time where your particular brand or website or your client's website is missing. So you can see right here, we have a sample question where someone asked about spare time activities. And you can see ChatGPT's response here. These are all the brands mentioned in the response from ChatGPT after doing research. And if there are sources, they would populate right here. So even though this particular prompt has 0 sources, if we go to something like this, like what are the best online platforms for music and psychology resources, and we click on view full response, you'll be able to see again all the brands mentioned. You can see Spotify, Tidal, Skillshare, etc., and then all the associated sources. This is one of the most important things, like I said, when it comes to increasing that AI visibility. Let's say you wanted to create content to serve underserved prompts. You can click on something like this, create content, and it'll prepare.
Okay, so that's talking about the tools that SEMrush provides. I don't pay for SEMrush, so I don't know that
So today I want to talk about this
I can
particular research
utilize
paper.
that.
I want to talk about it for a different reason than I normally talk about research papers on this channel, and I want to talk about it for a different reason than I initially thought that I was going to talk about this research paper about. So this particular research paper introduces what they call a universal reasoning model, which is based off of the HRM models, if you're familiar with those, which are based off of universal transformers, which is essentially a modification of the architecture to transformers overall. So you take the standard transformer and then you make a few modifications to it, which introduces essentially recurrent computation over depth is the main thing that is the difference between a standard transformer and universal transformers. So instead of stacking like differential layers, you stack a single layer, and then you essentially have it just do like RNN type of computations over that backpropagate over that. So it's kind of like that, like Mamba. It's kind of like would fall under like a good example of a universal transformer model, right? Where it's the best of both worlds, recurrent neural networks, as well as transformer models. And then so you hear like about these types of Mamba, HRM, these types of models all of the time in the literature, and they've been like competing now for ever since ChatGPT came around. There's been these competing models and competing architectures, specifically like around the domains that I've listed, right? Universal transformers, Mamba models, and then from there, HRM is the most recent ones. And then now you have like this universal reasoning model put out by this Quant company, and I checked into them. They're a quant-based company based out of China. They deal with like quant and like finance and everything around that and algorithms, etc. And then so, but the bottom line that I want to point out within this research paper, right? So I went to recreate their findings, and then when I very first recreated their findings, I was able to reproduce them. And so I made a post like on my LinkedIn yesterday, where I was essentially like praising the heck out of these models, right? And I didn't follow up on that post because like when I went through, and I didn't make a video yesterday because when I went through my testing on this, it ended up not going out the way that I wanted it to, and I was expecting it to, which happens occasionally, right? But the testing in this my simple framing of my hypothesis within all of this, and it's simply, as I can state this, is that these models, these universal reasoning models, so like universal reasoning, HRM, universal transformers, etc., they're overfitting to this problem, right? ArcAGI and Sudoku in specific, in particular. And then like everything that you see around these two models and these models in this family of models, they always test this, right? They're always testing against ArcAGI and Sudoku. And so my argument is very specifically that this architecture just happens to be very good at this style of testing, but then it's very bad at any other style of testing that you would do and you would employ them on. So they're not universal reasoning models by any means or any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. And then furthermore, I want to illustrate and point out that the major advantage of these models, like and of this architecture, doesn't come from any of this. Doesn't come from the universal transformers. Doesn't come from anything that they're talking about within this, like this Condas, like Swiglu, etc. Like the biggest, the thing that they're getting, like their major advantage from is simply rope. And then I'll point that out and I'll illustrate that and through my testing and then show you exactly how that works, right? And then so I'll show you like very clearly through the benchmarks here exactly how this works. The perform, I'll give you access to all the code. And then so within that, I want to dive into these experiments that I run, right? And then so the mirage of recurrence is universal reasoning just overfitted. And then so a new wave of research argues that the future of AI reasoning lies in universal transformers, or models that trade deep layers for recurrent loops to refine their thoughts. A prime example is the universal reasoning model detailed in recent research, which claims that recurrent inductive bias and strong.
Okay, I'm getting my ass beat in Clash Royale, and Richard Aragon is talking about universal reasoning models not actually being universal reasoning models, but they just do well on the tests that are supposedly showing universal reasoning. I'm good on that.
Launched over 600 ad campaigns and helped billion-dollar brands like Nutrien to make more money. But most of the advice that I followed along the way was total bullshit and didn't work, because the problem is most marketing advice out there is just too basic and it doesn't give you the edge. So double your sales, and work these through painful trial and error and tens of thousands of dollars in expensive takes. I wish someone had given me this list when I started, so that's what I'm going to do for you right now. And this first tactic is one of the most powerful advanced marketing tactic number one. Okay, when I first started dating my partner, every Friday night we'd crack open a bottle of red wine and binge watch infomercials. And allegedly, that is a weird couple activity, but we weren't just watching for fun, and it was fun. We were studying them. Why? Because infomercials are a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they've mastered something most marketers miss. And it's where I used to go so wrong. I would over-explain everything in the copy. I thought that if I just said it the right way, if I just said enough words, then people would buy. Because people need belief to buy, but belief doesn't come from explanation. It comes from evidence. And people believe what they can see, not what you as a marketer says. And that's why infomercials use advanced strategy number one, the power of demonstrations. A good demonstration is dramatic and undeniable. It's memorable, it grabs attention, and it creates that instant belief in what you're saying. So let's see this in action with one of the titans of the infomercial space.
Okay, so the first thing is show, don't tell, which is why I make videos of my demos.
Vince offer, we are going to look at the ShamWow. Okay, let's start watching. First, he shows the problem, right? Spills everywhere.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like
He's just used a light proof. We're going to be talking about that soon.
a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work.
Interesting. Show the problem. So I suppose in theory I could make a point to show like people trying to get information from your website and not being able to find it, or beginning to fill out a web form and then abandoning it because they want to go look for information, stuff like that. Might be a good idea.
This one's wet or dry.
Okay, now he's just compared it to the crappy thing that you were using before, right? And then showing you the new way to do it.
This is the house, the car, the boat, the RV. ShamWow.
Okay, right then what he did was he was contextualizing how you can use it, and now this is the power of demonstration. And I'm going to break this down so how you can use it in a second.
20 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just doesn't work. I want to work twice as hard. Doesn't trip. Doesn't make a mess.
Power of demonstration.
Wash it in the washing.
Boom. All right, let's have a quick look at his other one. Let's look at the
Hi,
Snapchat.
it's Vince with Slap Chop. You're going to be in a great mood all day.
Watch the power of demonstration.
Slap Chop. Look, here's a potato. One slap, you got big chunks for stew. Two slaps, home fries in a second. Look at this.
All right, you get it. And so his demonstrations have made millions and millions of dollars, not because of clever copy, but because the proof was totally undeniable. But how do you get this into your marketing today? Step one is you have to plan the demonstration. And every powerful demo has 4 things. We just watched it in the ShamWow. The first is a painful before. Show what the life looks like without your solution. Next, you'll show the old way and highlight the obvious, ineffective thing they've already tried. Then number 3, you'll show the new way, introduce your product or your method as the game changer. And then 4, the transformation. How does their life look right now? Then step 2, you just choose the medium to show it in. And it doesn't have to be a 2-hour-long infomercial for me to watch on a Friday night over wine. You can demonstrate this using before and afters and video testimonials, explainer screen recordings, side-by-side comparisons. The goal is simple. You have to make the intangible tangible and let people see the transformation for themselves. Because when they...
Interesting. I should at least try that. Try focusing on the sky went from blue and then it turned like full gray, like condensed fog, and now it's back to totally blue again with just one, what do you call those things? What do you call it when they spray things in the sky? Sky trail or whatever? Sky spray? It's pretty fucking obvious that there's somebody spraying shit into the sky. Look at how they're spraying into the sky. Do you see that? How do people not notice these things? Chemtrails, what do you say? And it's like, sure, that's just condensation from an airplane. But then it's like, okay, but then why does that happen? And then suddenly the whole sky turns gray, like an hour later.
see it, then they will sell themselves. But if you really want to put your marketing on steroids, use this next tactic, advanced marketing tactic number 2. Okay, imagine this. You're standing at the base of a giant mountain, okay? You have paid some guy to take you to the top, and it's steep and it's dangerous. You're scared. You've never done it before. And halfway up, he turns around and goes, hey, just so you know, I've never actually done this before, but we'll figure it out. You'd be like, what? Like, get me out of here. What are you talking about? But here's the thing. Most of us in our marketing, we are that guy. We are being that guy in our marketing. We are asking people to trust us without showing them that we have a proven map. So now imagine instead the guy pulls out a map and he's like, use it to take 173 people to the top, and they all made it back with selfies and oxygen in their lungs, right? Now that's a guide you trust. And that...
This is kind of making me anxious. I mean, as much as I said, I get anxious every afternoon. It's just time of day. I wake up full of hope for the day, and then I end the day with like creative energy. But there's always a period in the middle where I just get super anxious. And right now, just watching videos instead of doing something is making me very anxious. So I might have to stop watching videos and like either go for a walk, maybe try to get some food, or do something productive. Try to work on something. Try to work on. Let me think about it. What time is it? It's 4. So what time is it in Taiwan? It's 6 a.m. in Taiwan. So if I get started right now on something, I have like 3 hours to like make a demo, make a video, make a demo, a video, and like an email. I could do that. I could start my Taiwanese Tuesday off with a bang. But I also do need to finish packing. So that too. Anyways, well,
That is your proprietary system, aka advanced tactic number 2. And honestly, it's freaking simple, but hardly anyone uses it. Okay, so what is it? It's like a map, right? But your proprietary system is a named, structured, repeatable process that gets people a specific result, and only you have it. So here's how to create your system in 2 steps. Do not overcomplicate this. Step 1 is to write down the 3 to 5 steps that you take to get someone a result. Don't overthink it. Don't overcook it. Your target market is here in the crappy before state, and they want to be here in the dream outcome. Then you just map out the steps from A to B, like you're building a bridge. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Whenever I work with clients on this, they're like, "Oh, we don't have a system." I'm like, "What steps do you take? How you have people here? You sell a transformation. Nobody in business sells a product or a service. We sell this. What are the slabs on your bridge? I don't know what they're called, the steps on your bridge that you use to take them there." Okay, so you already have a process. Now, once you've written that down, 3 or 5 steps, step 2 is you're going to give that bridge a sexy, memorable name. It has to be memorable. It can tie to a visual hook, and you can hook it into your big idea. For example, for this client, we created the domino property investment strategy. The idea behind it is once you buy the right property, like the right first one, then the rest will fall down like dominoes. But if you get this one wrong, and you can't get your dream outcome, which is not one investment property, it is a portfolio of investment properties that replace your income, that give you passive income. Okay. Now, for this trademark lawyer, so somebody in the legal space, we made the knockout, the knockoff system, and this is because their clients were getting ripped off by fakes, and they wanted revenge, sweet, sweet revenge. Now, here's what that looked like on the page. At Esker Legal, we've pioneered the knockout, the knockoff system, the only process that doesn't just remove fakes, it removes your stolen revenue and makes counterfeiters think twice before targeting you again. Excellent. Then we broke it down. Number 1, eliminate fakes across the platform. Number 2, freeze the copycat accounts. Number 3, recover your stolen money. Number 4, build protection to stop it from happening again. Now, when someone lands on that page, you don't just see another lawyer. They see a plan, a proven system, a process that they can trust to get to the top of the mountain. So in your marketing, do not sell the service. Sell the system. Educate on the system. Because once somebody is convinced about the system, you're not trying to convince them about you. You're trying to convince them about this system. Voila, they can only buy the system from you. It's a lot easier to sell a proprietary system. Now, if you want to see more pages like that one, and you want to see how I've done this across 20 high-converting landing pages for brands like Bluetree.
This does sound like a great idea here. I should do something like along those lines, but I'm not 100% sure how to do that.
The link is in the description to get my landing page swipe file. For now, you've got the system. But if your market doesn't get what you do in the first few seconds, they are going to bounce, right? So that brings us to advanced tactic number 3. You know, I've worked with a lot of tech founders, and I'll say, like in our kickoff call, cool, explain your product to me. And then it happens. They start rambling. It is full-blown word vomit, and they're throwing jargon at me and half-baked metaphors and some weird freaking acronyms I've never heard of. And I'm sitting there blinking, confused, like a little toddler, right? But by the end, I understand less than when I actually started. And to be fair, it's not just them. It happens to me too. It happens to a lot of founders. And it's because we have something called the curse of knowledge, which means we're really passionate about what we do, but we suck at explaining it in our marketing. And I have the same thing.
The curse of knowledge. Yep. Well, I definitely have experienced that.
Nothing is more humbling than trying to do my own marketing, right? Because I have this curse of knowledge. It's really hard to read the label from inside the bottle, and I'm in the weeds. I know all the cool shit, but that's not the conversation that we're trying to enter to a colder market who's never met us and doesn't have time for all of that context. And so the problem that these tech founders have is that if your audience doesn't get it very quickly, they won't click, they won't book, and they sure as hell won't buy because confused minds don't buy. But that is where advanced tactic number 3 comes in. This is called the light bridge, also known as the epiphany bridge if you're a Russell Brunson fan. I found everyone got confused with what the word epiphany meant. So think of it like this. You've got a new idea, but your market has an old brain, okay? So instead of teaching something brand new, with this, you anchor your idea to something they already understand. Okay, let me give you a good example of what this sounds like. There's a tool called BugHerd, and it helps teams give feedbacks on websites, but they don't just say, we're a visual QA tool with your asynchronous dev team comms. I can't even say that. They say, it's like sticky notes for your website. And now suddenly, you know exactly what it does because they've likened it back to something you already understand. Now, if I was doing canvas marketing and explaining it, I might say, it's like Photoshop, that drag and drop for non-designers. I get it. Or the Calm app. It's like Spotify for your mental health, okay? So how do you use it? There's a very easy
Oops,
formula.
I got my ass
It's
kicked
like
there.
your product or concept, but for your market or outcome. That's it. And this is very powerful when you're educating a new market, you're launching something new and unfamiliar, or your offer needs a little help landing in their old noggin. There are 3 rules you need to get it right though. Keep it stupid simple. Use references your audience already knows, and don't try to be too clever. Be clear, okay? Now they understand your offer. Now they want your system. So how do we make them buy quickly without being too gross and salesy? Advanced marketing tactic number 4. Okay. I bet you already know you should be using urgency in your marketing. Thanks, lady. Real good. You need to light a fire under their butt to get them to move, because if you don't, they'll just sit in their own comfort zone, scrolling brain rot on TikTok and never actually change their life. But do you know what I used to think urgency was? Countdown timers, fake only, 2 seats only messages, all those passive aggressive, closing soon emails we all know are bullshit. And yeah, they obviously work. People keep flogging them. But let's be honest, they kind of give people the ick. And more importantly, they train your market not to trust you, especially when it's not real. So what do we do instead? Well, we are going to use urgency that's actually a bit sophisticated, and we create real pressure and real FOMO, not fake. And that's where advanced tactic 4 comes in. I call this the 3 reasons why formula, and it's inspired by Oren Klaff's 3 market forces. This is a concept from his book, Pitch Anything. The core idea is simple. Don't just yell, buy now. What we want to say is the world is shifting, and if you don't adapt, you're going to get left behind. Okay, so basically,
Oren Klaff was his name, I think. Yeah, I watched that guy's like every video that guy's ever put out. Last year, I went on right about 1 year ago. I went on a big binge watching thing of his for his stuff. Whoops! Thanks for that. All right, now I can share these while I watch them. I do gotta go to the bathroom though, so I might take a little breaky break.
you use 3 external market forces: economic, technological, and social, to get them to take action. And it's a bit advanced, so let me show you an example. Because when urgency comes from external forces and not a made-up deadline, it actually feels true. That's nice in marketing when you're true and ethical. So say you help fitness coaches
So it just makes sense when to internally link. I've not just went into this article and thought, right, how many times can I internally link to my 60 other pages, right? You want to make certain that the context behind each internally link actually matters. Another thing that you want to make certain that you're doing within your content as well is around your internal links. When you are internally linking, it actually is speaking about that page. So for example, SEMrush do a really good job of this, but for example, we've got what are the 3 pillars of SEO, and then we've internally linked to our page on how SEO works. So if you think of the thought process, somebody that's reading about the 3 pillars, they might then be interested to figure out how SEO fully works, and that's when they would basically click through to this page and start reading how SEO works. Now that is basically called a contextual bridge. You are actually including context around your internal link. You're not just stuffing internal links just as and when. Then we have got adding definition blocks. Now I do this in one of 2 different ways. I highlight certain stuff where I think it's actually important. So for example, here I've said if a page isn't crawled, it can't be indexed, and if it isn't indexed, it can't rank, right? So obviously within this page, we're talking about crawling, for example, and that's why I've highlighted certain parts. So you can either do stuff like that, or you can actually have like an accordion section where you can actually ask a question and then go into a little bit more detail as well. So there's 2 different ways you can actually have the definition blocks. Then we have got adding an about page, an offer, and contact entities as well. Now, this is one thing that I should probably improve just a little bit. So as we can see here, we've got Casual Ash, the UK-based SEO digital strategist. So I don't actually mind this bio about me, but a few things I should probably do is actually have links to my social medias. I actually do have them down here, but they should be a little bit more prominent, I suppose. So you can always do stuff like that. Then we have got using knowledge panel markers, so basically making certain that our pages actually have a schema. Now, what we can actually do here is use Classy Schema. I'm actually going to include this link here because this is a new tool that I have been using for schema. But this basically allows you to actually see your web page or your website's actual schema. You can actually test it out as well. So what you want to do is click on Structured Data Viewer and then click on Fetch from URL. I just pasted in casual-com, and this will tell you all of the schema that you actually have. So if I click on Visualization, you'll be able to visualize the actual schema, all of the podcasts or the ex-podcasts that I've done, the organizations that I'm associated to, the audiences that I actually serve. So this can obviously help you a lot more. If you guys do want to actually take a look and deep dive into schema a little bit more, let me know. I can probably do a separate video, or just feel free to take a look at my website, run my website through the tool, and that will give you a good example as well. Next, we have obviously got topic clusters. Now, topic clusters is basically when you expand on a certain topic. So, for example, if we were talking about what is link building, we might have separate pages to do with digital PR. We might have a separate page to do with PBNs. We might have another page to do with guest posts and another one to do with link directories or website directories, right? So the days of just having like one page to rank, especially for tougher to rank for keywords, are pretty much long gone. You will need a combination of all pages. Like, for example, here, there's multiple ways that you can obviously do this as well, but with this website, or Ahrefs, is actually ranking for link building, but they have a separate page to do with off-page SEO. They've got a separate page to do with SEO content, keyword research. This is basically their entire SEO guide on how to actually improve certain stuff. So this is what I mean by a tight topic cluster. Next on the list is optimize for first sentence extraction. Now, this is really important, and this is also going to tie into if you actually take a look at writing styles. If you include, or if you take a look at this, for example, if you actually have entity-centric writing, this can definitely help. But basically, AI overviews often quote the first 1 or 2 sentences, so you want to make certain that they are entity-rich and factual, even more so if you have questions on the page as well. So if we take a look here, like, what is a link? Yoast has done this pretty well. So a link or a hyperlink connects one page on the internet to another. It helps users and search engines move between pages. Now, if we were to take a look at what is link building as the question, link building means earning hyperlinks from other sites to show search engines your content is trustworthy and valuable, right? So I mean, they've not done a terrible job there. They've basically answered it, but in some cases, like if they had a question here about how many backlinks do I need to build, right? And then the first sentence said, well, it depends, right? This is one of the issues that I see the most when it comes to websites not actually ranking, because LLMs and also search engines, they just want the answer. So if you were to say, you need at least 100 backlinks. However, this does depend on the size of your website, what your competitors are doing, and what the keyword is you're trying to rank for. That's a lot better than saying, well, it depends, right? You want to give the answer and then the caveat after. Now, this next one is using inline
go pick up a
citation.
pizza.
So if you are claiming something, so for example, according to the UK government energy data, prices for gas and electricity is going up, X, Y, and Z, right? You want to make certain that you are citing where you got that source from.
I'm not really getting anything out of this, even though I am listening to it. Should I? Well, I don't know. All right. I've got a little bit of time to kill, so let's just keep going.
Again, in some cases, right, there might be news happening. It might be all over the news. Like, let's say a famous celebrity's died, right? You still want to make certain that you are citing that source, because you want to obviously show to LLMs where you have gotten that source. And again, once you actually cite your sources, you are also indirectly more trustworthy as well. So a few things on the technical front: you don't want to be using large images. You don't want to be using bloated website code builders. So, for example, Elementor is and always has been very slow when it comes to crawling your website. Now, I actually use Elementor on my casualdash.com website. However, if you are not that tech savvy, it can definitely slow down your website. Now, I only use it, I believe, just on my homepage. So in some cases, you might want to take a look at that. In other cases, you just want to make certain that you just have a fast loading website. So making certain that your images are optimized, making certain that you don't have any images that are like 2, 3, 4 megabytes in size. Just stuff like that can definitely help. Then we have got add context indexing signals. So submit your XML to index now. You also want to make certain that you are referencing your sitemap within your robots.txt. So if I click or go to here, as you can see, I have got my sitemap there. And you want to make certain that this is actually submitted to, first of all, Google, because that will start to actually get Google to come and crawl your website. So again, with AI overviews, that's going to help you a little bit more. So the next step is deploying semantic HTML5 tags. So if you've never used any of these, this basically tells Google and also other LLMs and stuff where your article starts. So if you've got a sidebar, if you have a main section, stuff like that, that can definitely help when it comes to crawling your website as quickly as possible. Next on the list, we have got acquiring contextual backlinks. So this is going to be one thing that we're going to cover later in this video when it comes to assets. But again, making certain that you actually do have backlinks. If you have got listicles, if you've got directories, anything like that can definitely help when it comes to LLMs actually showing your brand. Now, one thing to remember, right? Let's say, for example, you've just mentioned on your website's homepage that you are the best SEO expert or you are the best plumbing business in the whole of Manchester, right? There are statements and then there are facts. Now, this is one of the biggest things to remember, because Google now uses what's called Google MUM's algorithm. So if I just search Google MUM algorithm, right? So the Google MUM, or Multitask Unified Model, MUM, is AI-powered algorithm designed to handle complex, nuanced search queries by understanding information across 75 different languages in multiple formats, such as text, images, and also videos. So then my next question is, does MUM use consensus? Yes, Google Multitask Unified Model, MUM uses consensus-based technique to improve quality of search results, particularly for featured snippets. So this basically means, right, if your website says that you are the best plumbing company in Manchester, but there are no other websites, there's no other guest posts, there's no other backlinks saying that, then guess what? It is not deemed as a fact. It is just a statement. It's like me saying that I'm the best footballer, right? I don't have any goals. I've not played for a team. There's nothing to back that up. So you want to make certain that your backlinks are the things that are actually backing your statements up that's being said on your website. Now, there's a few ways that you can obviously do this. You've got Wikidata, you have Crunchbase, you've got external structured profiles, so like your Facebook, your Instagram profile, Twitter, LinkedIn. Having all of these is really important. Again, we're going to go into what assets that you can actually set up in just a few minutes. Then we've got add brand mentions with context. So using press releases, for example, which again we'll go into in just a second. Some press releases on this list are free as well. But making certain that if you are submitting any links, or if you're getting any backlinks, or if somebody's writing a review about you, there is actually context behind that. Now, I still see a lot of companies where they get 5-star reviews and it's literally just a 5-star and no context. Like they've not actually, the person that has left that review hasn't actually mentioned what that company has done. So making certain that your reviews, for example, are actually with context as well can definitely help. Now, this last section is all to do with AI visibility and testing. This is more so for your own benefit as opposed to ranking benefits, right? So making certain that we are actually testing for entity recognition. So just by doing a search for what is brand known for, so what is Casual Dash known for, what is Valiant Boilers known for, making certain that it is actually pulling back somewhat correct information. Like if it's pulling back that you sell alpacas, for example, you do not sell alpacas, then you've got a major issue. So that's one thing that I would be testing out. Then we've got testing for contextual consistency. So making certain that you're doing the search across all different platforms, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, right? Because some of these, there is a little bit of a lag. And what I mean by that is you might be doing all of the things that I'm saying in this checklist, but Gemini, or for example, Claude, for example, might take 1 or 2 weeks for it to pick up the new information. So you want to make certain that you're checking all of the LLMs for consistency, to make certain that there is something being said about you. Then we've got obviously monitoring citation mentions. So track when AIs quote your content or use your data in responses. And there's a few obviously ways that you can do this. You've got LLM monitor, you've got brand mentions. Then we have got evaluate trust signals via Perplexity. So Perplexity for me personally is one of the ones that it just spits out a lot of its actual sources. So as you can see here, it actually pulls through a lot of trustworthy websites, and that's why I quite like looking at Perplexity for the actual sources, so making certain that the actual sources that it's pulled in are correct as well. And then we've got optimized for consensus retrievals, which was the last thing that we were obviously talking about, right? So if you want to be known as the best law firm in New York, right, just by having one website mention that you are the best law firm in New York isn't enough. You want to make certain that there are multiple sources.
I'll say I'm really not getting anything from this video at all, but sometimes I just like having like noise in the background that is of a specific type. Like sometimes I just like listening to Spanish language videos. I don't even like if I've been going to like places where there's a lot of Hispanics, and then I just like for the next few days, I'll just like to have like background noise in Spanish. Sometimes same with Chinese. Right now, I'm happy to just have SEO background noise. Just like as long as you're talking about SEO topics, it reminds me that it gives me the feeling that like being fully immersed in SEO and never lifting my head up to think about anything else is a good thing, and it's okay and it's normal. That's what I'm trying to create.
Say that. So again, going back to Perplexity, where was it now? There's 20 different websites talking about my brand, for example, and that's just the first 20 that I could find, right? If I could get more, I would definitely get more than 20. But again, optimizing for consensus retrieval is very important across the entire board. It doesn't matter if you're trying to rank higher in Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever. You want to make certain that you do this across the board. Right now, we're going to go quickly through the second tab, which is LLM questions. Right now, if you've ever looked at my website, you might have spotted something that I am doing halfway down the page here, right? So as you can see, who is Kazra-Dash? What are the businesses of Kazra-Dash? What does Kazra-Dash offer through Kazra-Dash.com? What motivated Kazra-Dash to start masterminders, etc., etc. Right? We've got so many questions in here. Now, if we take a look here, right, I have made this cheat sheet for you to actually copy. So we've got what's the business name? I've also given like an example answer, so you can just copy and paste these questions and actually have it on your website. If we even take a look at the Masterminders, for example, I have included it on my conference website also. So as you can see, the Masterminders knowledge base, so who founded the Masterminders, when was the Masterminders conference founded, etc., etc. So this way we are feeding the LLMs. Now, there are a few questions that you might decide to tweak, for example. So we've got brand identity questions. So we've got what does the business do? What topics is the brand associated with? One thing that I would also do as well is where it says like who founded the business, I would replace the business with, I don't know, XYZ solicitors, 24/7 solicitors, right? Whatever your company is actually called, I would replace it because you want the question to actually include your business name as well. We've then got location specific, so where's the business based, which regions or clients does it serve, who is the service area focused. Then we've got services, so what are the core services, what's the flagship service. We've got target audience, so who is the primary target audience of that company. Has Kazra-Dash spoken at events? So again, this is more so, this will be a little bit dependent on the actual industry that you are in. Then we've got some structured data, and then we've got some brand messaging as well. Now again, you don't need to include all 20, or actually we've got 34 questions in there, right? You might decide, okay, I'm going to include 10 of these questions, but again, a lot of these questions will help feed the LLMs about who you are, what you do, and who you serve. Now you might decide, okay, I'll have like, let's say 5 or 6 of these brand identity questions. We might have 2 or 3 of these location questions, maybe 1 service-based question, 1 target audience, and maybe 2 credibility questions, right? And again, you can just have this on your homepage, or you can even have it on the about page of your brand as well. Next, we have got the LLM SEO assets. Now, again, I have been continuously reminding you guys about how important consensus is, right? Even when you do a search, doesn't mum use consensus? It's saying yes, right? So, for example, we actually done a test recently where we were able to rank for best SEO experts 2026. As you can see here, we've got myself mentioned, we've got a few other people mentioned here as well. Now, the reason why this worked really well is because we smashed out the park with consensus, right? Now, there are certain things that you can own, and there are certain stuff that are obviously rented, and then there's certain stuff like digital PR, for example, right? So, for example, Kazra-Dash.com, if I click here, here we go, this was the wrong link in the actual sheet.
All right, I won that clash for once in my lifetime. I won a clash match. So I'm gonna go grab this pizza from Domino's. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another live stream when I get back.